So I'd like to introduce to you first the creative producer and I guess programming director, and I'm still trying to fumble around what we're going to call him next year. And I'm so proud of Michael Dunaway, Sarasota Film Festival.
Was that an official announcement that I'm coming back? I love that. That's great. Yes, yes. It's the most public setting I've ever had a job offer. That's great. No, everybody, thank you so much for coming out. I mean, you know, on a Monday evening to come out for a great cause like this, it just shows what a special community Sarasota is, not only as a group of film lovers, but as a group of philanthropists and people intent on doing good. So thank you to all of you for coming out. You know, I always like to say that for a festival, art for art's sake is certainly important and certainly very worthy of bringing to light. But along the way, if you get a bully pulpit, you should use the bully pulpit. You know, they say that the presidency, the most important power that the president has is not in the Constitution, because the most important power is the bully pulpit. The president has a chance nationally to turn the spotlight in a very big way, in a very clear, bright way, onto issues that he finds are important, and in a much smaller way. And we feel like the festival has built up the kind of reputation to where we have that kind of spotlight or that kind of megaphone, to change the analogy here. We've done that in several ways in the past. We've done it several ways this year. Our social issue theme this year is homelessness. As you've seen, we've had a lot of programs about homelessness. But that's not our only social issue that we're dealing with in Sarasota. It's not our only issue that we're dealing with in the festival. And so when a board member came to us with this film and told us this remarkable story that the film tells, as a programming team and as a leadership team with Mark, we were fascinated. And then when we saw the movie, there was really no doubt that not only we wanted to show this film, this remarkable film, but that we wanted to make it, we wanted to go big with it and bring in some very important sponsors and partners. So as Mark said, thank you to all of them for being a part of this. And I'll be back in just a second to introduce a couple of more people, but for now, first of all, I would like to introduce the Executive Director of the Neuro Challenge Foundation, Judy Bell.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you, everybody, for coming. We have a great attendance tonight, and we're just really thrilled that you showed so much interest in this film, and we really appreciate you being here. I really want to thank the Sarasota Film Festival. You really went all out to make this happen, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Believe me, I had no idea how much has to happen behind the scenes to make all this possible.
Neither did I.
And the loan of this theater from Florida Studio Theater, we want to thank you so much, and the promotions that were done by the ballet, and there's just been such a great partnership, so I want to thank everybody. But we really wouldn't be able to do it without our sponsors, and I have the pleasure of thanking our sponsors. So first of all, I'd like to thank the Amicus Foundation, our friend and board member Sharon Weiner, and her husband Lee. They saw this film and recommended that it be included in the festival, and we are so grateful. Thank you. The Familio Family Foundation, Mark and Jenny, you've been steadfastly supportive. We so appreciate all that you have done to make this possible. Thank you. The Harvey Center, Dr. Fred Harvey, specializing in integrative medicine and geriatrics. There really aren't very many people that are working with geriatrics in this community, so we want to thank them as well. John and Kathy Musto. Kathy is immediate past president. She works for Gentiva Home Health. We're very appreciative, John and Kathy. Nola and Larry Heatbrink, always a powerhouse of energy. Many of you know the Heatbrinks in this community. Nola serves on our board of directors. Larry, very quietly, behind the scenes, advocates on our behalf. They're a wonderful couple. Bach and Jacobs, Babette Bach, an elder law attorney, thank you. You've done so many educational programs for us. You help Parkinson's and other aging families navigate those challenging financial waters. And finally, I want to thank Flagship Automotive Center of Venice, Dick and J.J. Williams. Dick is vice president of our board. They're major supporters, and they advocate for services in so many ways. We want to thank all of you. So Neuro Challenge Foundation for Parkinson's, we're very proud to be here. And we're really proud that when those people who have to hear those words, "You've got Parkinson's," have somewhere to turn. We are those who can calm those fears, who can sort of take the chill out of the water that you know you're going to have to navigate as you go down that road of Parkinson's. We're currently serving over 1,200 people. We're a very lean organization. Where's my staff? Jennifer, Carissa, Sarah, JJ is a volunteer. We couldn't do it without you. We have a phenomenal board of directors. Gail Rydell is our president. The board members are here tonight. I want to thank you for all that you do. We host a weekly dance program on Lemon Street, and there is also Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's also a program at Parkinson Place, so there are 3 dance programs here in this community. And I want to thank everybody for your participation, and I hope you enjoy the film. I'll turn it back to Michael. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. Next, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ian Webb before I bring him to the podium. Born in Yorkshire, England, Ian started ballet at the age of 14, and he moved to London at 16, where he trained for 2 years with the Rambert School of Ballet, a year at the Royal Ballet School, and a further year as an apprentice with the Sadler's Wells Royal Ballet, where he was offered a full-time position. After retiring, now, I don't think you're this old. After retiring from the Royal Ballet in 1196, you have got to give us some secrets to youth, my friend. I'm going to have to take up ballet myself. My goodness. Yes, indeed. Dance is good for you. In 1996, I guess, is that what that is? Okay. After retiring from the Royal Ballet in 1996, Webb was asked to join the K Ballet Company in Japan as ballet master. Let me give you that again. Webb was asked to join the K Ballet Company in Japan as ballet master, and 2 years later was appointed assistant director. He's been guest teaching master classes and workshops for all the major ballet schools in England. And in July 2007, we were very happy because Webb took over the directorship of the Sarasota Ballet. So please welcome the director of the Sarasota Ballet, Ian Webb.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. This is quite an incredible honor. I think one of the great things about Sarasota is the arts and the way that we all collaborate. And when you get a phone call from Mark saying, "I need you to do something," you do it because he helps us so much with our at-risk program. He provides studio space for us so we can do our at-risk program for the children. So it's a real great collaboration to be doing this. I can't tell you about what you're about to see. I think it's an amazing that we have the director here who will be here afterwards to talk. But you're talking about a subject that's difficult to handle. It's a difficult emotion for not only somebody who has Parkinson, but also their people who are around them, the people who are with them every day, with a mixture of the most incredible dancer, choreographer, Mark Morris. He is a true legend. He is one of the most outrageous, the most funniest, but very, very serious about what his mission is. He was here in Sarasota, I think it was last year, and so he has a slight connection. When I look at coming today and I was thinking about it, you know, for many, many times I hear the story of when I was young, I was a sickly child, or I had polio or something like this, so I was forced into dance. Some of the dancers that are really respected in the dance world went through this. But what's important to highlight is how it affects somebody who's told they have Parkinson. And the fact that dance has this amazing magic that the music actually comes through the body, and you can be transformed to a different place. And I think that's what's inspiring. We have to take this art form and help everybody with it. We have a studio downtown, Studio 20, which is John Simon, who's here as part of Pineapple Square. He gives this building to us, to the Sarasota Ballet, and so therefore in return, as in the true sense of Sarasota, the collaboration, we're so honored that we give this over so that the lessons can be done for the people with Parkinson. As I say, we have to, it's our duty, especially I think in the dance world where we have our bodies as fine-tuned instruments, and we torture them and we push them to the absolute limits. But I think to step back and think of those, the enjoyment and the way that you can transform the world for that hour's class, I think is something that we should, really offer more to. So I just want to say whatever I can do, and as the Sarasota Ballet, whatever we can do, we're there to help not only, the people with Parkinson, but anything that we can do where we can have dance involved. We would very much like to support that. And of course, my good friend Mark. So thank you.
Dr. Sutherland, we'll see if you have some ancient history here or not. Dr. Sutherland's background as a scientist and skills as a compassionate clinician allow him to uncover the ever-deepening layers of complexity offered by the nervous system. Did I say something wrong? Okay. He especially enjoys interacting with his patients, helping them to understand their neurological challenges and working with them to develop reality-based, robust treatment plans, providing excellent care for patients with complicated Parkinson's disease from across the U.S. and the world, provides daily inspiration for Dr. Sutherland, and is the driving force behind Neuro Challenge Foundation for Parkinson's disease. Dr. Sutherland.
Thank you, Michael. So I was in clinic today and I saw a patient, came in about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he said, Dr. Sutherland, is there any muscle in the body that is not affected by Parkinson's disease? And so I really had to stop and think about that for a while, because I really think that there really is not a muscle that is not affected by Parkinson's. And that includes not only, your skeletal muscles and things we use to move and to do dance, but also autonomic systems. We know that the gastrointestinal system is affected, sexual function, all these muscles that are involved in the body have all been affected by Parkinson's, and even including the heart. So I think of Parkinson's as kind of a whole body disease, a whole person disease, if you will. So we know that people who have Parkinson's have a lot of challenges in their lives, but one of the things that they really have to get back in touch with is their body. And I think that that's really what these dance programs or Dance for PD is doing for people. I really feel that. It's allowing people to get back in touch with their body, not just produce more dopamine in their brain, not just get more flexibility and strength, but I think it gives people back a sense of who they are. So that's why I'm so pleased that David Iverson made this film to begin with, and then brought it to us here in Sarasota so we could shine some more light on this problem, because it's very important. What we do at Neuro Challenge Foundation, I think, is we help people from all walks of life. We know that people come in from all different places. We have people that come from Canada, Washington State. We have people that come from Jamaica, even to come see us to get advice about their Parkinson's disease. It matters. People come up to us every day and say, thank you for changing our lives and for letting us know that we're not alone, and then there's somebody there to help us. And so, I'm so pleased that this whole dance program has gotten off the ground here. I know there are people involved that I've had come back to my office that have been very pleased and feel better. They know that they're getting better and feeling better when they do that. So without any further ado, thank you.
So thank you so much for bringing this very special film to us, and thank you for making the trip and coming across the country from another film festival, and got a long trip ahead of you when you leave Sarasota. So I know it was a sacrifice to get down here.
No, not at all. It's a great pleasure to be here, and thank you everyone so much for being here tonight, for being a part of this. And for choosing to support this particular cause, this particular foundation, and the importance dance classes, as Judy was saying, that are offered here in Sarasota. So it's very gratifying to be here. So thank you, Michael, for including me and including our film.
Oh, of course, of course. We talked a little bit out in the lobby, you and I, about your background in television, largely in television. Why don't you catch us up, first of all, before we get into the film per se, catch us up a little bit about your career up to this point.
Well, I spent my life in as a reporter, really, as a pretty traditional journalist, working largely in public television and in public radio. I have produced a lot of different films and specials for PBS, primarily for the national PBS system, ranging from politics. I was thinking about this today, actually, with the various presidential announcements going on. I did a film in the late 90s called The 30-Second Candidate about the role of television advertising in presidential campaigns, that maybe we could try it out again. I don't know. And I've also worked in public radio as a talk show host. Did a film for the PBS Frontline series a couple of years ago called My Father, My Brother, and Me, which was about my own family's saga with Parkinson's, and that led in turn to working on this particular project.
Amy, would you see if you could get some paper napkins and a couple of waters? Is that possible? By the way, those of you who see me sweating, it's not because Dave is making me nervous. It's because for you, those of you who are from Sarasota, I'll give you a piece of advice. When Mark Familio says to you, "Come on to dinner, you'll have plenty of time to get back," do not believe him. I think I did more running in the last 15 minutes than I did in the last year. So sorry about this. So that brings us up to this point with the film, and I think that I'm speaking for the crowd when I say that watching this film is a sort of a little bit of a transformative experience. You feel like you're different when you come out of this film than when you went into it, and I can only imagine that making the film is even more so. And I would love to hear about sort of, not to be cheesy, but I'd love to hear about how making the film has actually affected your life.
Yeah. Well, Parkinson's has been a part of my life for a long time. Came into my life in the summer of 1971. I graduated from college that year, and I went off to work as a VISTA volunteer, the old domestic Peace Corps, and I got a letter from my mom saying that my dad had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I didn't even know what the word meant. I had to look it up in a dictionary, and fortunately, quite a few in the audience are old enough to know what dictionaries actually are and what they're used for. And then 20 years after that, my older brother was diagnosed. And then 10 years after that, I was as well. So it's a topic, that is very close to me, and that led me to making the Frontline PBS film. And in the course of making that film, I got to know a little bit about this project, filmed a little tiny thread of that is in the PBS Frontline film. But I just knew when I went into that dance class. How many people here have been to a Parkinson's dance class, by the way? Okay. Well, you know what you feel like, right? When you walk into that class and there's something that happens. And it's what you said before, Michael, about it being transformative. And I saw that first day, and I thought, there's something here, that ought to be told. And I got a chance to do a short piece on it for the PBS NewsHour. A few years after that, David Leventhal and I became friends. And I raised a little money and set out to try to make this film. And, people are surprised when I say this, because my frontline film was called My Father, My Brother, and Me. That's pretty personal. But this is more personal to me. This means more to me than anything I've ever done. And I think it's because I learned so much from those individuals that you saw on the screen. They were some of the most remarkable, strong, dedicated, funny, fierce, committed, passionate people I've ever been around. And I wanted to try to tell that story. And I wanted to tell the story of what they meant to each other. For me, this is a story about art and its transformative power, but it's also a story about the human spirit, about the power of community. And so what I learned from them, I guess, in the end, is that, there's a little bit of narration, very little bit at the beginning of the film, where I say, they've each had something go missing: steadiness of hand or sureness of step. And I think of Parkinson's as a disease of subtraction. It takes things from you, one by one. But what they taught me was that if you're faced with a disease of subtraction, you better believe in addition. You better add things back into your life. You can't step back, you have to step forward. They showed me that. They were so committed to making this performance happen. They in the corridors, in the lunchroom of the Mark Morris Dance Center, at houses, at their, someone's house 2 days, day before the performance. They were determined to make this work. Marcia Abrams, the woman who almost quits, who says, I don't want to fall and I don't want to look stupid. I think the reason she didn't quit was because she was part of something larger than herself. She gained something from that, and they gained something from her. They were in it together. I learned all of that from them. And they became, to me, incredibly beautiful human beings. When you're a reporter, you sort of keep your distance a bit. You tell both sides of the story. You're objective. You're fair. You're accurate. And I'd like to think that's the kind of reporter I've been. But in this film, I let a lot of that go, and I'm glad I did.
Given what this film is, and given what you have done with it, and given what some of the people in the crowd have done in this area, I feel woefully unworthy of taking up any more time with my questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the audience here. I'm going to walk to the edge of the stage so that I can see you a little bit better. For those of you who are in the sides and the back, that have the sides of the back that have questions, I might not be able to see you as well. So if I don't see you, just kind of say, hey, me. Oh, there, I can block it a little bit. Okay, now I can see you all. Never mind. Who would like to begin in the audience Q&A for us? Who has a question? Yes, sir.
It's not a question. I just want to say how incredibly moving, how inspiring. And I want to thank you, and please pass my real inspiration back to the people involved, the dancers. I love the way they're always called the dancers. So just thank you very much indeed.
Ian, thank you for saying that. And thank you for your remarks before the film, because you were dead on about embracing the body, even when the body has become something that's turned on you in some ways. And they are the dancers, as you know. I mean, they don't talk, in that class, they don't talk about Parkinson's disease. They don't talk about, well, this is going to help me, you know, sit up straighter, button my shirt, or whatever. It's not about that. It is about dance. It is about artistic expression. It is about the freedom that comes from that and the community that depends on that. And that's, I think, part of why it is this global phenomenon now of, you know, not just in Brooklyn, but here in Sarasota, all over the country, all over the world, 11 different countries now, 110 cities. And it's because it's about that. It's about dance.
I thought it was very meaningful when you used the other people. You integrated other regular dancers and young children with them. I thought that was very well done. I think they became more of a community.
I think that's true. I mean, I didn't do anything to make that happen. That's the strength and beauty of the Dance for PD program and what Mark Morris represents. Ian knows this, but if you ever go to the Mark Morris Dance Center, you don't know if you're in a senior center or a preschool or the home of one of the most renowned dance companies on the planet. It's because they're all there. They're little kids, there's hip hop classes, there's Dance for Parkinson's, there's everything. And that's because Mark, I believe, believes that they're there, they're in the community, you know, they're on the corner of Lafayette and Flatbush. They are part of it, and they want to be part of it. And the film reflects that, reflects Mark's philosophy and the philosophy of Dance for PD. So I'm glad that was meaningful to you, and it's very true, I think, to what they are all there for.
Who gets to be in the dance company?
Anybody.
Who gets to be in the dance company is the question.
I mean, in the Dance for PD, that's the truth. I mean, anybody who wants to. I mean, it's limited to people with Parkinson's. Okay, so that narrows the universe to 1.5 million people in this country. But you know, it really anybody who wants to participate and who has Parkinson's, or their partner or spouse, caregiver, is a part of it. Some self-selected into performing in being part of the performance. There are 50 to 75 people on average at each weekly class in Brooklyn, and 18 people performed. But that was all by their choice. There weren't any tryouts, you know. And you know, in the end, after Reggie has his stroke and Bobby performs, Bobby's still going to those classes, and she's not the only spouse of someone who's passed away who's continued to be a part of it. It is that strong a community. I mean, I called Bobby after Reggie died, and you know, I was blubbery on the phone, and she, you know, she was like, you know, it's okay. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay, and it speaks again, I think, to the strength and power that comes from that group.
Could you say something about the unique warmth and humanity of David and John?
Yeah. The question is, could we say something about the warmth and humanity of David Leventhal and John Higginbotham? They're incredible people, as Ian and others here who are familiar with the dance world know. They are stars in the dance world. John is a rising star in the world of choreography, written up in the New Yorker, awards from Jacob's Pillow. I mean, he is a big deal in the dance world. And both he and David were star performers. They don't use those words. The Mark Morris Dance Group doesn't even use the word principal dancers, but they were, you know, that's the truth. David was an amazing performer, one of the great modern dancers, and he, as Mark says, you know, left at the peak of his career to lead this effort. He has no one in his family with Parkinson's. But he believed in this program. It spoke to him in some way, and he felt, I think, called, as corny a word as that may sound, to take this on. He is the most extraordinary man. I mean, people often ask me, is he like for real? Is that true? And it's true. I mean, he's just a remarkable, caring, kind, talented, devoted, committed leader, director of a program. I mean, he's a remarkable guy. I mean, he's changed my life, and I am so grateful for that. And we're going to continue we're taking the film and program to Stanford University next weekend to do something on the intersection between art and science, and we're going to try to do that in some other communities. So I'm very blessed and very fortunate to continue my association with them. But David Leventhal is one of the most amazing human beings I've ever been around.
Are there any colleges in the country where this is taught to young people in college dancers who might be very interested in doing this?
Such a great question. I don't know the answer to that. David teaches teacher training kind of workshops all the time, both in Brooklyn and around the country. The thing I mentioned at Stanford last weekend is going to include a class where David comes out and teaches a class for people with Parkinson's. But invited into the class will be 20 dance students at Stanford. And I very much hope that we can kind of use this as a kind of template to do it in other places, because I think there's so much that could come from that.
So if anyone didn't hear that, the University of Florida and New College both have courses for dance for Parkinson's. Go ahead.
And I think what's exciting is that this is cutting both ways now. There are things that science is learning from art and vice versa. And so there are medical humanities programs now in many medical schools around the country, at Stanford, at Michigan, any number of places, Columbia, where they're really trying to train doctors in the arts, because they think that that there is something to that old phrase, the art of medicine, and that by being trained in the arts and learning to see and sense and perceive things in a different way, that can contribute to the ability of physicians to heal. So I think there's a lot of really exciting things that can happen in that direction.
Who else? The orange shirt in the back, then blue shirt right here.
When does the local chapter meet, and is it open to the public?
Judy Bell or Lynn Hocker could probably respond to that best. The question was, when does the local class meet here in Sarasota?
There are 3 classes. There are 3 classes here in Sarasota on Mondays at the Ballet Studio on Lemon at 12:30, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Parkinson Place and Lamus. What time is that? 10 o'clock, and that's on Cattleman.
Is it open to the public?
Yes, it's open for people with Parkinson's disease and their family members.
If you're interested, if you have relatives or think of people who would be interested in other parts of the country, if you go to the Dance for PD website, so it's danceforpd.org, you can look, and they locate every Dance for PD class offering in the world. So there's quite the far-flung network now of those programs.
And you were next, I believe.
Yeah. While I was watching the film, I noticed in a lot of the scenes that you captured the other dancers looking at the dancer that was dancing. Did you do that? And even in a lot of the still shots, there was always somebody like in the corner watching them. Was that important to you? Or you
I'm not quite sure. Do you mean that the dancers were watching each other, or that? Yes, yeah. Well, I think there are 2 reasons for that. Some of it was there was, as you could see in the film, towards the end, there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of anxiety towards the end about how are we going to be able to do this. And so having David and Uta Takamura on stage provided some comfort in that way. So there was that kind of watching. But I also think there's a lot of watching, as David says in the film, dance is about community. You depend on one another. You can't do it alone. You have to know your place within the dance and within that larger group. And so I think it's a wonderful metaphor for community. It is a community, and I think that kind of watching back and forth was very much a part of it. Thank you, Sharon, for asking that. On your first point about the aging population, I do really think this is important. I mean, Dr. Sutherland can maybe add more detail to this, but the statistics that I have seen at least suggest that because Parkinson's is a disease of aging, and we all know that our population is aging, that aging boomers like me are going to be around, and so that the percentage of people with Parkinson's will double by the year 2040. So, and the cost of Parkinson's disease, treatment of Parkinson's disease, runs in the neighborhood of $14, $15 billion a year. So we need to get a lot smarter about how we live with these diseases, underline the word live. And that's part of why I think these programs are so important, because while the purpose of them is dance and artistic expression, it clearly results in an ability to lead a more, I think, independent and fulfilling life. And we're going to need strategies to do that, to form what some people call strategies towards creative living, and that don't cost necessarily billions of dollars. So we would be, we've been kind of stupid in this country, in my opinion, about not funding the arts. And we need to be smarter about that for very practical reasons. In terms of where you can see the film, this is, I think, the 7th or 8th film festival it's been shown in. We have a couple more coming up around the country. If any of you have friends in Minneapolis, St. Paul, it'll be in the Minneapolis St. Paul Film Festival, April 20th and 21st. And then PBS, the Public Broadcasting System, will make it available to all public stations in the country starting on June the 22nd. And so if you want to lobby your local Sarasota public station to carry it, that would be an entirely good thing, because it will be a sort of station-by-station decision. It will also soon be available on DVD. Film festivals, for some peculiar reason, don't want you really selling DVDs, because otherwise people wouldn't go to film festivals. So it will wait until we're done with that process, and then it'll be available. And so if you go to our website, which is capturinggracefilm.com, remember the film part, because otherwise you wind up on like a newborn baby photography site. So it's capturinggracefilm.com. It'll be available, and half of the money from those sales goes to benefit Dance for PD. So that's the ways in which it'll be available soon.
Follow up here.
Do you think that this program, this very program, would be effective or just as effective in some way as people age with problems other than Parkinson's? It's the same thing would work.
I don't want to pretend beyond to exceed my level of knowledge in this. I'm a reporter and a filmmaker. I'm not a neuroscientist by any stretch of the imagination. But clearly, there's a documentary called Alive Inside about the relationship between music and Alzheimer's. I think there's lots of possibilities. I don't think there's anything peculiar or special necessarily about Parkinson's and dance. I think David Leventhal would be a better person to answer that question. I think they've wanted to stay focused. They feel like they've made a difference in this one arena, and they've been asked, I know this question before, could you include people with Alzheimer's or multiple sclerosis or any number of other conditions? And I think David has felt like let's stay with what we're doing. But I think he would be entirely for other people developing those other programs. There's a theater program for people with Alzheimer's in Milwaukee. There are lots of possibilities, but I think they want to be careful about not spreading themselves too thin across too many possibilities. Absolutely, yeah.
I think maybe time for one more. Did you have one right here?
Dave, do you dance?
And will you give us a little demonstration?
Yeah. I'm due for one of my levodopa carbidopa pills, so we'll see. It's funny. Almost every film festival, someone asks that question. So here's the answer. I didn't throughout all of the filming, because even though I allowed myself to become close to those individuals, I really wanted to kind of stay back and make sure we were doing what we wanted to do. I didn't want to involve myself in any kind of first-person way to be shown dancing or any of that. So I never participated in a class, even though I always found it extraordinarily moving. And I'm very vigorous about exercise. I believe that my exercise regimen is one of the things that has kept me going so well with Parkinson's. I'm an avid runner. Well, slow jogger would be the more accurate phrase, but so that's what I do. I've been able to run in some the New York Marathon a number of times to raise money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So that's what I do. But the last day before the film premiered, had its world premiere at the Mill Valley Film Festival, David Leventhal came out and led classes for the Marin Dance for PD program, Berkeley Dance for PD, San Francisco, so forth and so on. And he was leading this class, and it was as magical as ever. And I was standing in the back, watching the way I always did. And I finally thought, oh, what the hell, you know? And so I joined in. And 5 of the dancers from Brooklyn had flown out to San Francisco for the world premiere, which was just a colossal hoot in itself. And I danced with them. And it was very sweet.
Well, thank you for bringing this extraordinary film to us, and thank you for bringing your extraordinary presence to us. I think I speak for everybody when I say it makes the film that much more special to be sharing it with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Keep dancing.
I'm here with Mark Famiglio, the CEO and president of the Sarasota Film Festival.
That would be me.
That's you. Mark, how's it going?
It's going very well. I mean, tonight, of course, we're here celebrating the partnership of the Neuro Challenge Foundation, the Sarasota Ballet of Florida, I guess it's called. No, it's the Sarasota Ballet, actually, and the Sarasota Film Festival. So 3 great Sarasota nonprofits, and we're really happy to work together to inform and educate about some of the challenges of Parkinson's with a really wonderful film. The director here is in attendance, and we're really looking forward to the film.
It's great to bring awareness to Parkinson's, and your films this year have been very thoughtfully selected.
That's absolutely true. In all seriousness, we're having a great time. We're a little slap happy because we've been doing this for, let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 out of, oh my God, we have 6.5 days left of this. This is amazing.
You're making a lot of difference, though, in a lot of people's lives, and you're bringing awareness to the community, and that's so important.
We are bringing awareness to the community. In fact, on Friday, I get to go to the Tourist Development Council and explain to them if I have any impact on the community. They just thought they'd give me 10 minutes to do that in the middle of the festival, which is going to be very interesting.
This is a huge impact. On Saturday, I was sitting on the sidewalk having lunch with my husband, and I saw so many new people that have never been to Sarasota. They asked me directions. Do you know how to get to Siesta Beach and all that?
I found people wandering around the Rosemary District, you know, walking into shops, and I was amazed. You know, I wouldn't have known that they were with us, but for the IDs that they were wearing, and it was really exciting. And, you know, it's fun to see that because, you know, they're here, they're populating the town. I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's going to be swamped downtown with moviegoers and participants in the festival. I also just looked at the spreadsheet with all the costs that we have. Oh, my gosh. We have brought in 247 filmmakers, directors, producers. And just today, when I was sitting there going over the finances, I'm getting phone calls and texts and emails from well-known celebrities and talent that want to come. And can you please send us a ticket? I'm like, no. Well, would you mind if we came anyway? Can we find a hotel room? So we're going to have a lot of extra guests that we didn't know were going to be here, which is going to be fun.
It's very exciting. We have created so much energy in the community.
Thank you. That's I really do appreciate that. And right about now, I'd like to get some of that energy. But I've been doing shots of espresso, and I've been making it through. I try to pace myself about 7 hours of sleep a night, not too bad.
That's good. You've got to have at least 7.
I always keep a bag of ice in my back seat so I can stick my face in it.
Oh.
try to wake
Is that
up.
your secret?
Well, you know, tonight I'm getting a call. Last night I got a call 11:30, and I'm laying in bed. Phone rings. You know, there's a bunch of people, a bunch of filmmakers are going to go sing karaoke. Why won't I go with them?
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Those days are long gone. But I am looking forward to the next few days where we have parties and events, and God, so many films. So many films.
You do. You've had 278, is that, or something around that number?
And we have about 200 left to see now, so
Wow.
it's going to be pretty crazy.
A lot of films.
But you guys are great to be here and help out and participate, and as always, METV is the greatest. I can't thank you enough. Of all the national and international press that come to town, you guys take the time to really get engaged and get the detail. And so we're so happy to cooperate with you and give you kind of a local bent to these things, because it is impacting everybody in our communities, and we're just really happy to be part of it and thankful that METV is a part of it too.
Well, you're very kind, Mark. We're all so proud to be here. We love Sarasota County. We love Manatee County. And it shows that you do for what you've brought to the table. Thank you for all your hard work and your effort.
Yeah, really, thank you very much. It's great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with two very important ladies.
Hi, I'm Lynn Hawker. And I'm Sharon Bird.
Lynn and Sharon. Lynn, tell us about your experience and what do you do?
As far as Parkinson's is concerned, I teach a class called PD in Motion. We have a class at the Sarasota Ballet's downtown studio every Monday from 12:30 to 1:30. And this is a class that is formatted on the Mark Morris dance group's Dance for Parkinson's. So we employ a lot of different types of movement. We have a great time. We're focusing on fun and moving, and we think everybody should come and join us.
Sounds great.
And I met Lynn, and when I wanted to create a class with Dance for Parkinson's. So we've been together since the beginning, and she teaches the class, and I do some of the organizational part of getting people there.
Oh, how terrific. Where can we find out more about this?
Well, you can go to Neuro Challenge's website and you'll find all the information about it. If you're here or you're coming to the screening, then you'll see some flyers for our class. You can go online to the Herald Tribune's website and you'll find our information there listed in the calendar events.
So thank you very much. We're very excited about this film.
It's our pleasure. We're thrilled to have you here tonight. You're both in wonderful physical shape, great spirits, great energy.
Well, you might as well be, and dance is a wonderful way to keep it that way.
Hi, I'm back with Judy Bell, the Executive Director of the Neuro Challenge, and Dr. Sutherland. Great to have you here this evening.
Thank you. We're honored to be here.
Could you tell us what is the Neuro Challenge?
Neuro Challenge Foundation for Parkinson's is an organization that provides education, care advising, which is one-to-one assistance, and research and information for people who have been newly diagnosed or who are traveling through the disease of Parkinson's.
Dr. Sutherland, can you give us just a little synopsis of what Parkinson's is?
We call it a movement disorder, which means people have difficulty with quick movements. They actually move very slow, and a lot of them have a tremor. They have gait and balance problems, which can really be very debilitating, and it's progressive. So over time, people slowly get worse over time, and they need more and more assistance from their spouse, their families, and from community resources like Neuro Challenge Foundation.
This film tonight, Capturing Grace, is about hope. Can you tell us how this is going to impact, or how you hope that this impacts our community? Who wants to answer that?
I'll take it.
We've been very interested in integrative medicine for Parkinson's for a long time, which means things like yoga, tai chi, dance, singing, and we help to facilitate a lot of these things in town. So this Dance for PD is amazing. David Leventhal is just a wonderful person, wonderful instructor. The whole program, I think, helps people with their sense of who they are. You know, they're not just a Parkinson's patient anymore. You know, now they're somebody who can dance.
Sounds Fabulous.
We really always like to say that exercise is probably the best medicine, especially for Parkinson's patients. And dance not only is exercise, but it's also just gets your endorphins going, and you just feel so happy when you're doing it. And it's a social activity as well. And people with Parkinson's need all those opportunities.
And is that available here in our community?
Yeah, actually there are several little dance groups, but Dance for PD is available here in Sarasota. And where are we doing it right now?
We're doing it on Mondays at 12:30 on Lemon at the Sarasota Ballet. And then Fusion Dance has programs Tuesdays and Thursdays at Parkinson Place.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
There are a lot of great resources here for Parkinson's in general. People move to Sarasota area because of that.
We are all aging.
True.
Can you give us a little bit of numbers about Parkinson's cases in the Sarasota-Manatee County area?
So we think that based on demographics, it's probably between 5,000 to 8,000 people between the two counties, Sarasota and Manatee, either diagnosed or undiagnosed, people with Parkinson's. And then that affects their family, their spouse, their kids, and everybody else around them. So it's really a big circle of people who get involved, I think, eventually.
Take a whole village, doesn't it?
It does take a village, absolutely. And we've heard so many people with Parkinson's say, when they heard those diagnostic words, "you've got Parkinson's," it's just chilling for them, and they really don't know where to turn. So if they can turn to a place like Neuro Challenge and get the answers, it's very, very reassuring.
Statistically, where does Parkinson's fall in the list of ailments or diseases?
It's right after Alzheimer's for neurological disorder.
Big numbers.
So about 1 to sometimes maybe 2% of people are affected by it. You know, eventually it's a disease we think of the elderly. So if you get to be 150 years old, you might have Parkinson's. So definitely people at 62, about 1.5% of the population has it. By 95, we think maybe 15% of the population has it. So it's pervasive, it really is.
Do you see a cure in the future?
I am very hopeful. Put me out of business.
We'd love to put that out of business.
Would be great, yes.
It would be. What does this film mean to you?
Oh, we are so honored to be recognized by the Sarasota Film Festival. The amount of effort that has gone on behind the scenes to make this happen has just been phenomenal. And the fact that this film about a population that sometimes is hidden, brings it out. It's bringing it out into the mainstream. The Parkinson's families are a part of this community, and we welcome them.
Oh, that's great to hear. Dr. Sutherland, is there anything you would like to add?
I think anything people can do to move is helpful with Parkinson's, but these dance programs are fantastic because they're actually created by people who are true dancers, so I think that if they can get involved in any way, they should do that.
It's wonderful that the Sarasota Ballet has grabbed onto this.
Isn't that nice? Yes. They were big promoters for us, yes. And they donate the space that we use on Mondays. Mm-hmm.
It's great news. And tell us one more time where someone can go to join these classes.
Neurochallenge.org.
Neurochallenge.org. Dr. Sutherland and Judith, it has been an absolute pleasure. Looking forward to seeing the film Capturing Grace.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm back with Jedediah Shoemaker at Capturing Grace. Jedediah is the
Associate Director
of the 17th Annual Sarasota Film Festival. Jedediah, what would you like the community to take away from this evening's event with Capturing Grace, the film about the hopeful Parkinson's disease?
Yeah, so Capturing Grace, it shows, first of all, Parkinson's is something that a lot of people in Sarasota are personally affected by, and raising awareness of it, but along with the Neuro Challenge, raising awareness of just how much life there is to live with Parkinson's is something I think the film highlights really well.
One of the people that we see so much is Michael J. Fox, who's living a very full life with Parkinson's. So we understand that this film is going to show hope.
It is. It's going to showcase hope, and hope as hope as artistic expression, hope as movement and art build hope.
Art's a wonderful thing, and Sarasota is such an artistic community. It seems like a perfect venue to show this film.
It is a perfect venue. And also later in the week at Florida Studio Theater, we have our Conversation series. Linda Opes, the producer of Interstellar. We have Jane Seymour.
Wow.
We have Tom Brown with special guest Rachel Weisz. So it's a full slate of programming here as well, giving people a good chance to interact with filmmakers and artists.
Right here at the Florida Studio Theater, a whole In Conversation series.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
You've got some great names coming in.
Thank you.
You've worked very hard. You've done a wonderful job.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm back with Michael Dunaway, the creative director of the film festival, and lots of other titles as well. A lot of hats this great man wears. Michael, tell us a little bit about why this particular film is important to the festival.
Sure, absolutely. So, as I always say, art for art's sake is very important, right? But as long as we also have this bully pulpit of the festival, we want to use it for good when we can, and especially when there are films that open our eyes to important issues or important solutions to issues.
Like Parkinson's.
Like Parkinson's, exactly. And so when one of our board members brought this film to our attention, we were very intrigued, and then we saw it and thought, oh my goodness, we've got to show this film. It's a really interesting film about how dance therapy can help people with Parkinson's. That's a short way to describe it, but you got to see the whole thing to see all the amazing implications of that one thought.
We're looking forward to it. We just interviewed the director.
Yes.
You have some partners in this film.
Yes.
Tell us about the partners that you have.
Absolutely. So, we could not pull off this kind of thing by ourselves without our amazing partners. So we partnered with the Neuro Challenge group, which of course is involved in this kind of work. And then we've partnered also with the Florida Studio Theater, the beautiful theater where we are right now, and with the Sarasota Ballet. So it's a group effort by far. I'm the one talking on camera about it, but it's a group effort for sure.
It takes a village, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
What would you like people to take away this evening from this event?
I think there's a couple of things. I think one is
raise awareness to Parkinson's.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how exactly to phrase this. One is that art changes things. Dance is art. Art is changing people's lives in so many ways, and this is just one more way, And the second thing is that there's always hope. There's always hope. If you had said that, maybe by learning dance you could help the progress of someone's Parkinson's disease, someone would have thought you were crazy, and yet here it is. Here it is doing exactly that. And so those are the two things I'd say.
That's what we all want to hear. We want to know that there's hope, that it's not a death sentence with Parkinson's. I personally work with a woman in the auction world who has Parkinson's, was recently diagnosed. She's still working.
Yep.
We're still slugging away. She's doing a great job.
Absolutely. That spirit, that human spirit, right?
Indomitable will to live.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, this is the 17th year. Your festival has certainly had it's willing to live, and it's living on. You're doing a fabulous job. Looking forward to seeing Capturing Grace and talking to more people from the Neuro Challenge. I think we have the head of the Neuro Challenge here tonight.
Yes.
So we'll be interviewing him
too.
soon. Oh, I'm sorry. It's that camera thing.
Yes. But we're so pleased to have the Neuro Challenge people and the Florida Studio Theater and the ballet. It's just amazing to have everybody come together for this most worthwhile cause.
We're looking forward to it. And we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Liz Flower with METV here at the Gompertz Theater, Florida Studio Theater, for the 17th Annual Sarasota Film Festival. I'm here with David Iverson.
Hi.
Hi, David.
How are you?
David's in from San Francisco this evening for a wonderful film called Capturing Grace. David, tell us a little bit about your film and what inspired you to be a part or to direct this film?
Sure. Well, a number of years ago, I was doing a film for the PBS Frontline series about Parkinson's disease, in part connecting to my own family's saga with that condition, and explored both the sort of science and the political controversies involving stem cell science in particular. But in making the film, I became aware of what seemed like such an unusual juxtaposition. People who are these wonderful modern dancers at the Mark Morris Dance Group, working side by side with people who sometimes struggle to move at all, people with Parkinson's. We filmed a short scene as part of that particular documentary, but I really felt that there was something greater to be done. And so when I had the chance to make a longer film about the relationship between these two really both extraordinary groups, the Mark Morris Dance Group and the Dance for Parkinson's Group, it just seemed like a story I really wanted to be able to tell.
It sounds like a great story. We're looking forward to the film. Is there any personal aspect to this as to why you made this film?
Yes, well, my father had Parkinson's disease. I have a brother who has Parkinson's, and then about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed as well. So it's a
very personal topic.
It's close to my heart. Parkinson's is a very varied condition. It can progress quickly. It can progress slowly. I'm extraordinarily lucky. I'm doing, really, really well. But I think we need to have a better understanding of the role that not only medication and science and research can play, but also exercise and art and dance can play. And what you see in the film, I think, is the sort of transformative quality that the performing arts, dance in particular, can have with someone who struggles with this condition. So it's really a story about the power of art and about the enduring strength, I think, of the human spirit as well.
It sounds wonderful. It sounds like it gives us hope.
It's absolutely about hope, absolutely.
David, have you done any other films?
I've done a number of other films for PBS, including the Frontline film that I mentioned. I've done a number of other documentary specials for PBS, both in the 80s and 90s. I did a film called The 30-Second Candidate, which was about the role of television advertising in presidential campaigns, which might be current again in the coming year. And then I also did a number of stories over the years for the PBS NewsHour, including coverage of the aftermath of the earthquake in Haiti. So I've had a varied career working both in documentary and in more traditional news reporting too.
You sound very experienced. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing your film. I know you just got off an airplane. You just bounced off the airplane to come to be with us tonight.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Sarasota Film Festival has a wonderful reputation, and I'm delighted to bring the film here.
Thank you. Well, it's the 17th year.
It is. No, it's a great festival. It's wonderful support here. There's great support for the Parkinson's community as well, and I'm happy to hopefully do something that's of benefit to both.